Hello, and welcome to the latest sheep meat to market update. The end of the Brexit transition period is looming large, and we still don't yet know whether there will be a trade agreement. We're also in something of an interim period when it comes to the UK market. We think lamb demand held its own overall during the first lockdown period, despite Easter falling during that time, but we're still waiting to see how lamb demand is faring during the current period of lockdown. Schools are open, as are most if not all takeaways where lamb does well. We don't seem to have had anything like the same amount of panic buying as the last time. However, the French market is also in lockdown, and that's an important destination for our exports. Brexit is around the corner, and that will bring change, perhaps profound change for the market. UK sheep meat production so far this year has been about 4% lower than last. Clean sheep slaughter is only 1% lower than last year. We think the 2020 lamb crop was probably about the same size as the crop in 2019. And while lambs have been coming forward a little faster over the last 4 or 5 months, this slowed in October. Nonetheless, the number still on the ground is probably still a little lower than it was at the same period last year. Carcass weights have been a touch lighter. The reason for the drop in production is that adult sheep slaughter has been 15% lower this year, with 200,000 fewer killed so far. If demand for them had been lower, prices might have too, but cull ewe prices are above those seen last year, and so it may be that more of them have been kept for breeding, possibly if replacements have been sold finished instead. Year-to-date imports are at 46,000 tonnes, 7% lower than last year. In September, however, there was a pickup in volumes from New Zealand, likely driven by a healthy price differential a few weeks ago. Exports in the year so far are now 9% lower than last year at 63,000 tonnes. The value of these exports is, however, nearly 10% higher at £315 million, thanks to the higher prices achieved. More recently, there have been reports of weaker export demand on the continent for our carcasses, which may start to weigh on prices, which have been relatively strong all year long. So, that trade balance brings us to Brexit. Let's remind ourselves what the balance of supply and demand for sheep meat looks like in the UK and what leaving the EU might mean. In 2019, the UK was slightly more than 100% self-sufficient in sheep meat. This means we produced more than we consumed. Even then, trade remained important to balance the market for 2 reasons. Firstly, UK consumers favour legs and loins, and we don't have enough sheep to cover that demand. Put simply, we import these products, mostly from New Zealand, and we export whole carcasses to Europe, mostly to France. Secondly, UK production is at its highest in the second half of the year, while demand is all year round. Easter, for example, is of course in the first half of the year. Not getting a trade deal with the EU would mean that our exports to Europe would face tariffs, while imports from New Zealand in particular would very likely remain tariff-free. This would likely depress the value of exported sheep meat and so sheep prices in the UK. We would expect New Zealand exporters to switch some volumes into Europe where possible, but the UK market would probably still be oversupplied. However, with an EU free trade agreement, no tariffs would be imposed on our exports, and it would be more like business as usual. One thing we do know, however, is that with or without a trade deal with the EU, the UK will become a third country. We will no longer simply be delivering products to European customers, but exporting to them in a truer sense of the word. This means more paperwork and more checks. It also brings the possibility of disruptions in trade flows, both in and out of the UK in the new year. All this adds up to the cost of doing business, and in the case of livestock farms, it may also mean that for a short time at least, processors may not be able to take animals with the same degree of regularity. The supply chain may take a while to adjust to the new ways of doing things, especially if there are significant changes in market prices. For more information about how the UK's exit from the EU might affect sheep meat markets, head to the AHDB website at ahdb.org.uk/EU-exit. We have lots of tools and resources to help you prepare and your business to prepare and keep you up to date with the latest developments, including webinars, podcasts, and written publications. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment on this video or pop us an email at redmeat.mi@ahdb.org.uk. Thank you.